Let me ask you something. Have you ever told yourself, I'll start saving next month? Maybe you were standing in a store or scrolling through your phone at midnight and you saw something, a jacket, a gadget, a pair of shoes, and you thought, you know what? I've been working hard. I deserve this. It's just one thing. One small purchase won't hurt. And then next month came and you said the same thing again. And the month after that. Here's the wild part. You're not broke. You're not reckless. You're not bad with money. You're actually a pretty responsible person. But somehow, at the end of every month, the savings account looks exactly the same as it did before, maybe even a little smaller. That feeling, that cycle, it has a name. And once you understand what's actually happening inside your brain when you make that just one more purchase, you'll never look at your spending the same way again. Most people think their savings problem is an income problem. I just don't make enough money yet. When I get that raise, I'll start saving properly. Sound familiar? But here's the thing. Studies consistently show that as people earn more money, their spending rises at almost exactly the same rate. Economists call this lifestyle inflation. But I want to talk about something even more specific, something that happens before lifestyle inflation even kicks in, something that operates at the level of a single decision. It's the just one more trap. And it works like this. You set a budget. You're feeling motivated. You've watched a finance video, maybe read an article. You're ready to get serious. You tell yourself, this month I'm going to save $200, maybe $300. You're committed. Then life happens.
Your friend's birthday dinner. A sale that's literally ending tonight. A subscription you forgot about. A takeout order because you had a really long day. And each time you say the same thing. Just this once. This is an exception. I'll make up for it later. But later never comes, because later has its own exceptions. And here's what nobody tells you. This isn't a willpower problem. This is a psychology problem, and it's one that even financially educated people fall into constantly. Let's break down what's actually happening in your brain. There's a psychological concept called present bias. It means humans are naturally wired to prefer rewards right now over rewards in the future, even when the future reward is objectively much bigger. Think about it this way. If I offered you $10 today or $15 next week, most people would take the $10 today, even though waiting just 7 days gives you 50% more money. Your brain just doesn't feel the future the way it feels the present. Now, apply that to saving. Saving money is a future reward. It's you choosing tomorrow's security over today's pleasure. And every single time you make a just one more purchase, your brain is doing a calculation, and present you is winning against future you. Every time. But it gets more interesting. There's another phenomenon at play here called the what the hell effect. This one was actually discovered by researchers studying dieting. They found that when people broke their diet, even slightly, they were much more likely to completely abandon it for the rest of the day. The thinking went, I already messed up, what the hell, I'll start fresh tomorrow. Your spending works exactly the same way. You buy that coffee when you said you wouldn't, and then your brain says, well, the budget's already blown a little. What's the harm in getting lunch out too? And suddenly a $5 coffee turned into a $40 day of unplanned spending, and you'll start fresh next month. This is the trap. Not one big purchase that destroys your finances, but 1,000 small justified exceptions that quietly drain everything you were planning to build. Now here's where it gets really fascinating.
Researchers have found that small purchases are actually more dangerous to savings than large ones. Why? Because large purchases feel significant. You think about them. You might sleep on it. You compare prices. You feel the weight of the decision. But small purchases, they fly completely under your mental radar. Your brain doesn't even register them as financial decisions. A $7 app, a $12 lunch upgrade, a $20 impulse buy at the checkout counter. Individually, each one feels invisible. But add them up across a month, and you're looking at hundreds of dollars that evaporated without a single moment of real decision-making. That's not spending, that's leaking. And the cruelest part is, you don't even remember most of them. At the end of the month, you know you spent the money, but you can't point to where it went. It just disappeared. And that invisibility is exactly what makes the trap so effective. Here's the deeper idea I want you to sit with. Wealth is not built in dramatic moments. It's not built when you land the big promotion or make the perfect investment or have some breakthrough financial awakening. Wealth is built or destroyed in the thousands of tiny, forgettable, invisible moments that you never think of as decisions. The version of you that becomes financially free isn't the one who found a secret investment strategy. It's the version of you that quietly won the small battles, every day, without drama, without fanfare. But there's something else going on beneath the surface here, something psychological that makes this even harder to escape. We use spending as emotional regulation. Think about the last time you bought something you didn't need. I mean, really think about it. What were you feeling before you bought it? Stressed? Bored? Anxious? Tired? A little bit like life wasn't going your way? Shopping, especially small, easy, instant shopping, gives your brain a fast hit of dopamine. It's a quick emotional reset. And because the purchases are small, they don't trigger guilt the way a big splurge would. So you get the emotional relief without the emotional consequence. Your brain learns this pattern quickly. Feeling bad? Buy something small. Feel better instantly.
This is why cutting spending feels so hard. You're not just cutting expenses, you're cutting off a coping mechanism. And if you try to white-knuckle your way through it with pure discipline, you'll almost always fail, because you haven't replaced the emotional function that spending was serving. This is the insight that changes everything. The just one more trap isn't really about money. It's about what money is doing for you emotionally in that moment. And until you understand that, every budget you make will have a leak in it. There's also a concept worth understanding called the focusing illusion. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman described it simply. Nothing in life is as important as you think it is while you're thinking about it. When you're standing in a store or hovering over the buy button, that item feels enormously important. Your brain has zoomed in completely. This jacket is perfect. I need this. This will make me feel so much better. But 2 weeks after you buy it, you barely think about it. It integrates into the background of your life and loses almost all of the emotional power it had in that moment. The purchase that felt essential? Forgotten. The savings you didn't make? Still missing. So what do you actually do with all of this? First, stop trying to be perfect with money. Perfection is the enemy of progress in personal finance. The goal is not to never make an impulse purchase again. The goal is to shrink the frequency and the size of those invisible leaks. Progress beats perfection every single time. Second, implement what I call the friction strategy. Make spending slightly harder and saving automatic. Set up an automatic transfer to savings on payday before you even see the money. When that money moves automatically, it stops existing in your spending brain. You can't spend what doesn't feel available. For impulse purchases, add friction. Give yourself a 24-hour rule on any non-essential purchase. Put items in your cart and wait a day. Most of the time, the urge will pass completely. You didn't need it. You just needed a dopamine hit in that moment. Third, and this is the one most people skip, find your replacement. Remember, spending is doing an emotional job for you. So what else can provide that quick reset? A 10-minute walk, calling a friend, a workout, a game on your phone. Sounds simple, maybe even a little silly, but if you can interrupt the emotional trigger with something that doesn't cost money, you've just fixed the actual root of the problem. Fourth, track your spending for 30 days, not to judge yourself, not to restrict yourself, just to make the invisible visible. Most people are genuinely shocked when they see their actual spending in black and white. Awareness alone changes behavior more than any rule or restriction ever could. And fifth, think in years, not months. One small purchase won't ruin you, but the version of you that makes that just one more choice repeatedly for years, compounded over time, that version of you misses out on something extraordinary. Here's a number that might wake something up in you. If you redirect just $200 a month, that's about $6 to $7 a day, into an investment account, and you do that consistently for 20 years with average market returns, you're looking at well over $100,000 from $6 a day, from the money that currently disappears without a trace. That's not a financial strategy, that's just plugging the leak. Here's the thought I want to leave you with. Every purchase you make is a vote for the kind of financial life you're building. Not a punishment, not a restriction, a choice. And the beautiful thing about choices is that you get to make a new one every single day. The just one more trap works because it tricks you into thinking that small things don't matter, that the real financial decisions are the big ones, the house, the car, the career move. But the truth is, the person you become financially is shaped almost entirely by the small, quiet, invisible decisions that nobody sees. The sacrifice nobody notices, the purchase you didn't make, the money that stayed in the account. Wealth isn't loud, it doesn't announce itself. It builds in silence, one small decision at a time. So the next time you hear that voice in your head say, "It's just one more, it's no big deal, I'll make up for it later," remember this: later is built from today's, and today's choices are the only ones you actually control. If this made something click for you, stick around, because next time we're going to talk about why your brain is wired to feel richer than you actually are, and how that feeling is quietly keeping millions of people exactly where they don't want to be.